devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nārayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiret nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtik. Hare Krishna. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, the appearance of Shukadev Goswami. Shloka number 11, 12 and 13. Anne cha Devarṣis Brahmarṣis varya.
Anne cha Devarṣis Brahmarṣis varya.
Rājarṣis varya aruṇādayas.
Rājarṣis varya aruṇādayas.
Nāna ārše pravaran sametan.
Nāna ऋषे प्रवरान् समेतान्
अभ्यर्च राजा शिरसा ववन्दे.
अभ्यर्च राजा शिरसा ववन्दे.
सुख उपविष्टेषु अथ तेषु भूयः.
सुख उपवेष्टेषु अथ तेषु भूयः.
कृत प्रणाम स्वचिकीर्षितं यत्.
कृत प्रणाम स्वचिकीर्षितं यत्.
विज्ञापयाम आस विविक्त चेताः.
विज्ञापयामास विविक्त चेता.
उपस्थितः अग्रे अभिगृहीत पाणिः.
उपस्थितः अग्रे अभिगृहीत पाणिः.
राजा उवाच.
राजः उवाच.
अहो वयं धन्यतमः नृपाणाम्.
अहो वयं धन्यतमः नृपाणाम्.
महत्तम अनुग्रहणीयशीलाः.
महत्तम अनुग्रहणीयशीलाः.
राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशौचत्.
राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशौचत्.
दूरात् विसृष्टं बत कार्यकर्म.
दूरात् विसृष्टं बत कार्यकर्म.
अन्ये च देवर्षि ब्रह्मर्षिवर्याः.
अन्ये च देवर्षि ब्रह्मऋषिवर्या.
राजर्षिवर्याः अरुणादयच.
राजऋषिवर्या अरुणादयच.
नाना आर्षय प्रवरान् समेता.
नाना ऋषे प्रवरान् समेतान्.
अभ्यर्च राजा शिरसा ववन्दे.
अभ्यर्च राजा शिरसा ववन्दे.
सुख उपविष्टेषु अथ तेषु भूयः.
सुख उपवेष्टेषु अथ तेषु भूय.
कृत प्रणामः स्वचिकीर्षितं यत्.
कृत प्रणाम स्वचिकीर्षितं यत्.
विज्ञापयाम आस विविक्त चेताः.
विज्ञापयामास विविक्त चेता.
उपस्थित अग्रे अभिगृहीत पाणिः.
उपस्थित अग्रे अभिगृहीत पाणिः.
राजा उवाच.
राजा उवाच.
अहो वयं धन्यतमः नृपाणाम्.
अहो वयं धन्यतमः नृपाणाम्.
महत्तम अनुग्रहणीयशीलाः.
महत्तम अनुग्रहणीयशीलाः.
राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशौचत्.
राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशौचत्.
दूरात् विसृष्टं बत कार्यकर्म.
दूरात् विसृष्टं बत कार्यकर्म.
अन्ये च देवर्षि ब्रह्मर्षिवर्याः. राजर्षिवर्या अरुणादयच. नाना आर्षे प्रवरान् समेतान्. अभ्यर्च राजा शिरसा ववन्दे. सुख उपविष्टेषु अथ तेषु भूयः. कृत प्रणाम स्वचिकीर्षितं यत्. विज्ञापयाम आस विविक्त चेताः. उपस्थित अग्रे अभिगृहीत पाणिः. राजा उवाच. अहो वयं धन्यतमः नृपाणां. महत्तम अनुग्रहणीयशीलाः. राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशौचात्. दूरात् विसृष्टं बत कार्यकर्म.
हरे कृष्ण. अन्ये च देवऋषि ब्रह्मऋषिवर्या. राजऋषिवर्या अरुणादय च. नाना ऋषिय प्रवरान् समेतान्. अभ्यर्च राजा शिरसा ववन्दे सुखोपविष्टेषु अथ तेषु भूय कृतप्रणाम स्वचिकीर्षितं यत् विज्ञापयामास विविक्तचेता उपस्थितः अग्रे अभिगृहीत पाणि राजः उवाच अहो वयं धन्यतमः नृपाणां महत्तम अनुग्रहणीयशीला राज्ञां कुलं ब्राह्मणपादशौचत् दूरात् विसृष्टं बत कार्यकर्म.
Hare Krishna, translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. There were also many other saintly demigods, kings, and special royal orders called aruṇādayas, a special rank of rājarṣis from different dynasties of sages. When they all assembled together to meet the Emperor Parīkṣit, he received them properly and bowed his head to the ground. After all the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably, the king, humbly standing before them with the folded hands, told them to his decision to fast until death. The fortunate king said, indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you sages consider royalty as refused to be rejected and left in a distant place.
Purport by Abhacharnavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
The system of bowing the head to the ground to show respect to superiors is an excellent etiquette which obliges the honored guest deep into the heart. Even the first grade offender is excused simply by this process, and Maharaj Parīkṣit, although honored by all the rishis and kings, welcome all the big men in that humble etiquette in order to be excused from any offenses. Generally, at the last stage of one's life, this humble method is adopted by every sensible man in order to be excused before departure. In this way, Maharaj Parīkṣit implored everyone's goodwill for going back home, back to Godhead. Although the king had already decided to fast until death on the bank of the Ganges, he humbly expressed his decision to elicit the opinions of the great authorities present there. Any important decision, however firmly fixed, should be confirmed by some authority that makes the matter perfect. This means that the monarchs who ruled the earth in those days were not irresponsible leaders. They scrupulously followed the authorities' decisions of the same and sages in terms of Vedic injunctions. Maharaj Parīkṣit, as a perfect king, followed the principles by consulting the authorities even up to the last days of his life. According to religious principles, stool, urine, wash, water, etc. must be left at a long distance. Attached bathrooms, urinals, etc. may be very convenient amenities of modern civilization, but they are ordered to be situated at a distance from residential quarters. That very example is cited here in relation to the kingly order for those who are progressively marching back to Godhead. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that to be in intimate touch with dollars and cents, men or the kingly order, is worse than suicide for one who desires to go back to Godhead. In other words, the transcendentalists do not generally associate with men who are too enamored by the external beauty of God's creation, by advanced knowledge in spiritual relationship. The transcendentalist knows that this beautiful material world is nothing but a shadowy reflection of the reality, the kingdom of God. They are not therefore very much captivated by royal opulence or anything like that. But in the case of Maharaj Parīkṣit, the situation was different. Apparently, the king was condemned to death by an inexperienced Brahmana boy, but actually he was called by the Lord to return to him. Other transcendentalists, the great sages and mystics who assembled together because of Maharaj Parīkṣit's fasting unto death, were quite anxious to see him, for he was going back to Godhead. Maharaj Parīkṣit also could understand that the great sages who assembled there were all kinds to his forefathers, the Pandavas, because of their devotional service to the Lord. He therefore felt grateful to the sages for being present there at the last stage of his life, and he felt that it was all due to the greatness of his late forefathers or grandfather. He felt proud, therefore, that he happened to be the descendant of such great devotees. Such pride for the devotees of the Lord is certainly not equal to the puffed up sense of vanity for material prosperity. The first is reality, whereas the other is false and vain. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Sri Guroho Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine Vancha Kalpatarubhecha Rupa Sindhuve Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna. We try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 19, Shloka 11 to 13. Here they describe about the all in Shloka number 9 and 10, they describe about the some rishis. Here they describe about the anya, means another sages and Brahmarṣis, Devarṣis, rājarṣis, aruṇādayas, all are gathered to receive to meet the Parīkṣit Maharaj. And after they describe about the decision, however important decision if we taking, that should be confirmed by some authority which makes matter perfect, that describes. And 13 shloka Raja describe about how he taking decision according to the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, also describing for this, and most grateful all kings who train to get favors from the great souls. All so many points they describing. Prabhuji will tell us in detail nicely. Hare Krishna. Mancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So a very wonderful summarization and an episode which is now happening here, which we are about to witness. So you have seen how the whole sages all over the globe who are renowned for different activities, different qualities, qualifications, all of them have gathered at this place. And Maharaj Parīkṣit is simply sitting on the banks of the Mother Ganges. It is his divine arrangement that Kṛṣṇa has called sages from across the universe, including deva-ṛṣis, brahma-ṛṣis, rājarṣis. So this no longer is an ordinary event. It is a cosmic assembly of enlightened beings witnessing the power of Kṛṣṇa-kathā to liberate the soul. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Sud Goswami ji is giving us the explanation of the things which are happening. He is saying that there are so many saintly demigods, kings, special royal orders called aruṇādayas. Now, aruṇādayas are a special rank among the rājarṣis. So, aruṇādayas from different dynasties of sages, so they all assemble together to meet the Parīkṣit Maharaj, who in turn received them properly and bowed his head to the ground. After all, the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably, the king humbly standing before them with folded hands. He told them of his decision to fast unto death. The king said, "Indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from great souls. Generally, we are considered as refuge to be rejected and left in a distant place. But I am so very lucky that all of you have come here and showered your mercy on me." Kṛṣṇa definitely is very merciful. So here, while this whole description is happening, we are seeing the glorification of the assembly. Because Devarṣis, now there was a diverse spectrum of saintly personalities out here. Nārada Muni, he is a Devarṣis. He transcends the three worlds. He was there. Brahmarṣis, Vasiṣṭha, who is born from Brahma, who has full spiritual power, he was there. Rājarṣis, kings who achieved spiritual perfection, who are having governance aligned with dharma, are present. Now, examples of Rājarṣis are like Janak Maharaj, Yayati. So, all such Rājarṣis and aruṇādayas, who are sage-like personalities, who are born in divine and spiritual lineages. So, all of the saintly people, they have united. They have united for glorification of the Lord, and so that assembly becomes a tirtha, a sanctified place. In fact, saints are themselves tirthas for the purification of the world, as we saw mentioned clearly in the 8th shloka of this particular chapter itself, when we studied it a couple of days ago. Tatra upajagmu bhuvanam punanam mahanubhava munaya sashishya prayena tirtha bhigama padeshai swayam hitirthani punanti santa. So at that time, Goswami ji explained that at that time all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by disciples and sages who got very faithfully sanctify a place of pilgrimage just by their presence, arrived there on the plea of making a pilgrim's journey. So all such saintly persons of diverse spectrum had gathered. And what does happen is, we see the humility of Parīkṣit Maharaj. He is bowing, and not only he is bowing with his head touching to the ground, which is the most ideal system of showing respect to superiors. It's an excellent etiquette, and it obliges the honored deep guest into the heart. In fact, Prabhupada ji explains us that even if someone is a biggest offender and he simply bows down with his head touching to the ground, he can be excused. Maharaj Parīkṣit, here by their presence he is being honored by all the rishis and kings. What is he doing in turn? He is in fact welcoming all the big personalities with humble etiquette so that he can be excused from any offenses. In fact, it is mentioned that marta kya na karta, or that a person who is dying does not lie. So at last stage of one's life, everyone adopts humble method. In fact, it is done by all the sensible persons so that they can be excused before departure for all the mistakes which they have committed knowingly or unknowingly. So when Maharaj Parīkṣit is doing this, he is actually imploring everyone, please bless me, please forgive me. So he is getting everyone's goodwill for going back home, back to Godhead. We know Maharaj Parīkṣit, though he could have asked for forgiveness from Shringi Rishi and he could have been forgiven, but still he did not do it. He in fact accepted the curse and he simply relinquished everything. He decided to fast until death on the bank of Ganges. And so, in front of all the great personalities, he humbly expressed his decision. But then he didn't say, okay, I have decided I'm going to do. No, he said, this is what I'm thinking. So you please opine. Because any perfect decision, any important decision, even if you're firmly fixed, it has to be confirmed by an authority. Then only it can become perfect. So what it means is that even the kings who used to be ruling, they were never dictators. They were never irresponsible. They used to always take decisions and guidance from the saints and sages in terms of Vedic injunctions. Maharaj Parīkṣit was a perfect king. So he always followed this principle of consulting the authorities, and even into this situation wherein he is going to be meeting his death, he is following the same system. So what it indirectly shows us is his humility. So three important words come here. Sukha upaveshteshu. He ensured that everyone is seated comfortably. Krita pranamaha. He offered respects. And vivikta cheta. He had a pure and undistracted mind. So his bodily posture, folded hands, bowing head, his clear, purified mind, and his intention to learn, to be instructed, they are absolutely wonderful. And they actually reflect the same thing which Krishna had told Arjuna. Tad vidhi pranipatena paripreshnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And Maharaj Parīkṣit was actually living this and making us learn that real knowledge flows not to the proud, but those with purified and submissive hearts. And look at the speech. It was reflecting the gratitude of a true king. Parīkṣit Maharaj feels himself unworthy, but blessed by the presence of the saints. He admits the challenges of household life and how it may distance one from purity. And he recognizes that even though he is a king, it is the association of devotees that brings true merits. So when he's talking about the saints, he's using the word Mahtam Anugrahaniya Shila. That saints are by nature compassionate, worthy of being pleased. Brahmana Padashauchat. The spiritual purity of Brahmanas, the purity of their feet, it purifies others. Garya karma, and it refers to the responsibilities of entanglements of grihastha life. So that is why, in fact, if you see the first chapter, 15th shloka, there one of the sentences is Nateshu jatu rājarṣis asvartha gatim grahan grahan. That rājarṣis never took household life as a means for material enjoyments, because they know it is going to be creating bondages. And Parīkṣit Maharaj, he was well above all these things. So that is why he had left everything which could be a bondage far, far away. And that is why in the purport, Prabhupada talks that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we should be very, very careful. He says that to be in touch with even kings or those who are rich is worse than suicide for one who desires to go back home, back to God. Because they are generally enamored by the external beauty. But by advanced knowledge in spiritual realization, we can know that whatever we see is not a reality, but it's only a perverted reflection. And that is why Parīkṣit Maharaj knew that being a king, he was as good as a refuge. He accepted it with whole heart. He felt grateful to the sages for being present there at the last stage of his life, and felt that it was all due to the greatness of his forefathers. So this is what we need to understand. The first is reality, that yes, we are soul, and second, that whatever we have here is useless. True wealth is sangha, association. Humility is something which will elevate, because Parīkṣit's humility invokes blessings. Spiritual inquiry requires submission, and Kṛṣṇa-kathā transcends the grihastha limitations. So Parīkṣit Maharaj here is teaching us how to approach our last place, not in fear, but with humility, eagerness to hear, and reverence for the sadhu, shastra, and guru. So this is a blueprint for spiritual submission. In the end, all titles, wealth, ego, they are meaningless in the presence of Krishna and his devotees. And that is why it is mentioned, Sarvopadi Vinirmukten. So let us bow our heads, fold our hands, and be grateful for the company of all the devotees that we are getting. And I'm really, really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here on this 8 p.m. discussions on Bhagavatam since so many days. And request to all of you to please pray for me, and please pray, please bless, so that we can continue on this journey back home, back to God. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.